Shadow meets Sam Blackcrow. New media is born, and Laura learns that in the world of the gods, all good things require sacrifice. Also, Sweeney's luck without his coin really does suck. It's American Gods, Season 2, Episode 3. Muninn. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of American Gods. So yes, of course, spoilers are on their way. And also, in case you want to skip ahead to any point of this review, just take a look down in the description below. There'll be a nice little table of contents, nice little description with little jump points, so you can jump around to any part of this review, watch it in any order you want. But let's kick things off with sort of our review proper. And I have to say, this episode made me so happy. Really, I gotta be honest, was in kind of a crap mood earlier today through this show and was wondering, like, is my poor mood going to interpret the way I see this show? And thankfully, it did not. I was actually really excited from the very beginning. Beautiful sort of dreamlike flame color shots there, and then inside of the vehicle of Betty as it went through, and then the crash, and just really the imagery, the dreamlike idea. This is back to American Gods in its wondrous form. Like I said, last week's to me wasn't so impressive. This week it is. I don't know, maybe we'll just get a sort of an uneven season. But this week's episode, really, I think from the whole storytelling, we got Mr. Ibis back doing his Welcome to America bit when we were doing the whole history of Argus and everything. And I really missed that. I think these were really important elements in storytelling, in setting up this world and really sort of conveying, well, like I said, that sort of dreamlike quality that this show does envelop. It's half real, it's half image, it's half interpretation. I know that's three halves. Okay, parts. Part this, part that. All of these little elements. What we don't want to have is rote storytelling. And I don't think that really happened this week. Okay, not everything was great. But I think overall, much better return to form. A much better bit of storytelling. And it almost makes me wonder the order in which some of these were done. Is this one of the earlier scripts and then the other ones were sort of changed to adjust? You could almost feel how some points feel like they were almost altered and inserted within this sort of larger time frame. Feels a little piecemeal in some sections. But I think overall, like I said, really an impressive episode, really good storytelling, great visuals, and everything was moving forward. We weren't doing nothing. We weren't just sort of blabbering and talking and filling in space. I really felt that there was actually momentum in the entire story moved forward in this episode, and that was really exciting. So the title of the episode, Muninn, refers to one of Odin's ravens. There's Hunin and Muninn. Muninn is the one that goes and delivers that nice message to Shadow as he's drinking from the fountain, having survived the train crash. And not really too bad a shape. Little beat up, little bloody, but still pretty good. And I think we're starting to imply, again, the at least some level of divinity, of godhood within Shadow, having just survived that crash. I mean, Laura's in pieces, literally. Sweeney, of course, is a leprechaun, so he's going to survive this. But with everybody else down, especially with Shadow having been inside that giant thing, not having his arms ripped out, and all of that. Again, I think we're implying a little bit of some extra dimension here to Shadow as we keep sort of touching onto it. I think we're finding just more evidence for that idea. But yes, so Muninn tells Shadow in great crow speak, go to Cairo, see the Egyptians, and Shadow, to his credit, just accepts that, and that becomes his mission. And it's just kind of an interesting bit, because as Wednesday sort of leaves him behind, just picks up Laura, throws her has Sweeney throw her in the trunk and drives off, what does he tell Sweeney? Am I the only one that has faith in Shadow? Sometimes the quickest way to get where you need to go is the longest. So this journey is meant to sort of build up Shadow's strength, his connection. He has survived. Even Wednesday says sort of at the end, you know, trials and tribulations just make you stronger, basically. But he doesn't really do a lot of trials and tribulations, again, outside of surviving the train crash and dragging himself to Cairo. I think what we're having here is the meaning, the importance of this is obviously to meet Sam Blackcrow. In a wonderful introduction, this scene where Shadow pulls himself into the Quickie Mart there and just starts scamming his way. Oh no, I look like this, I'm friendly, you got a great smile. Again, at that silver tongue, beautifully done. And doing a whole change scam, putting one bill down, you distract him, you say it's another, and then you get change. It's a way of scamming people behind the counter. That's why I always look at bills. If you're ever behind a counter, that's why you always look at bills and make sure before you put in the register or do anything. Don't get swayed by sweet talkers. And it's working for him until Sam Blackcrow comes in and just immediately susses him out and reverses it and uses whatever cash that he was going to get to put gas in her tank. Con's the con. And I think in a great sort of sign of respect. She lets him know that she knows exactly what he's doing, and in order to get away with it, he's going to use that and send her, get her the gas. Again, just sort of a little back and forth. I see what you're doing, so now you're going to help me out, or I'm going to turn you in, or bring something up. It's a sign of respect right there. Little insights into Sam Blackcrow. Cherokee father, full-blooded. Mother was a Bible thumper. Raised her with the Bible, always by her side, so she is one that is constantly reminded she does not belong in either world, but she is of both worlds. And in fact, that's something that she sort of dwells on a couple of times. She talks about having two souls in one body. You know, a strong and weak, masculine and feminine, that she's got these different sides to her. So obviously she is a combination element. She knows a lot of the world. Is she a god or goddess? That's a good question. She seems like a person, but she definitely knows a little bit more. She's been around the block at least a couple of times. And I do appreciate Shadow asking her straight out, after everything that he has been in, to just ask, are you some sort of like, are you human? Or are you like some buffalo queen? You're going to be pulling coins out of the air? Why? Because she's got that buffalo skull tattoo. And all of the imagery we've had since episode 1 with Shadow has been buffaloes and skulls. So she is sort of representing this combination, these two elements coming together. And I think it was just, and they didn't push things too far. I think that was another nice bit. They just sort of let that interaction play out naturally. Nothing was really forced. Even when Shadow finally gets where he needs to go, gets to the Egyptians. Why are you going to Cairo? Oh, sorry, Cairo. Those are always pronounced differently in different parts of the world. And that she happens to know the Egyptians that are there. Again, a lot of coincidence, which the show plays onto nicely. But again, not dragged out. He steps out, he gets that cool little like light swirl around him. She makes a little comment at a friend's ears, and then drives off. This isn't like, oh, I'm supposed to be here. And I think that would have cheapened it, to be honest, if she had gotten out of the truck and went in with him as like, this is where she's supposed to go. I think that would sort of undercut the connection, what we're saying right here. And what we're also seeing is obviously a bit more of a development of emotional, if we're going to go completely romantic, though there was a bit of a bond with him, for Shadow, as he can start to connect to other people, other worlds, other individuals, and maybe that's moving him away from Laura, which, again, that sort of dynamic is a lot of what we were dealing with in this episode. Now, one of the things that made this episode really feel like a return to form is the return of Mr. Ibis. I didn't realize how much I missed him. First off, the whole stitching of Laura together bit, that was awesome. The fact that he could chew on the maggots to learn a little bit more about her. You know, last time you went, you didn't have any faith, but now you seem to have definitely, something is going on. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Yes, that's gross. I can understand Laura saying, can you stop chewing on that? But Mr. Ibis is kind of that connector, the historian of the gods, I think was a really great welcome return. And, in fact, I will call his little return our Scene of the Week for this week. And I am, of course, referring specifically to the Tale of Argus. It's great storytelling. It gives us great background. It was visually wonderful. Like, you know, the whole spinning machine there and told in reflections. And I don't remember, I don't recall what the name of that machine is. But it was just, again, a beautifully done bit. Great visuals, great stories. Gives us some background both on the conflict of the gods and on Argus itself. I thought that it was amazingly done. So yeah, Argus, basically a protector of a guardian of Io. We have Hera and Zeus, man and wife, god, goddess. Of course, Zeus is always cheating on Hera. That's like every Greek myth starts. And Zeus looked down and found the lady beautiful and slept with her and turned into a swan and slept with her and turned into this and a cow and slept with her. That's like Zeus's whole background. This particular one falls in love with Io, sleeps with her. Hera says, look, I'm tired of this. I'm going to turn Io into a cow. Argus, you're going to watch Io the cow now. Keep away from Zeus's sight. Zeus, of course, doesn't like that, sends a messenger down to kill Argus, which upsets Hera to the point where she uses her focus and power to bring Argus back in America as the god of surveillance. And of course, his worshippers start to die out. Gonna need some more. Connect up with the new gods. Now playing both sides against the middle. As we find out eventually. But the whole storytelling, that was great. And one thing, this is something I really missed from the first episode because we had World Command talking about being connected with Argus, the world shot. Without knowing any of these things, that's why that scene felt incomplete to me. I think that's what I'm saying is some of this stuff in the season is starting to feel like maybe it was done out of order. We're going to do these scenes and then we sort of switched and moved them around. Because introducing Argus before without any background isn't usually how the show works. But now having this background, seeing that understanding, I get why World was connecting on. He wasn't connecting with this Mr. Sheen. He wasn't connecting with the president's surveillance system. He's connecting in with another god. Why he needs a human in order to connect to the machine, I don't know that part. And again, that's the one that feels weird to me. But all of this, it gives us a good, strong idea of who Argus was, what the connection is, why he is needed. And again, it also dealing more with that idea of worshippers, of belief, that is what gives a god power. And in some ways, even if the god itself is dead, is killed, if that belief, if those worshippers still exist, the god can be reborn. Which probably explains what happened with new media. So, yeah, new media, honestly, kind of the weakest part of the episode. I think there was some I mean, you've got a hard thing. You're moving from one great actress in a role, Gillian Anderson, and you are being replaced with a newer, younger actress, and a new interpretation of this idea. It's always going to be a little rough, normally. Now, the reveal was cool. I have to say, again, great visual bits here as they're at Argus, and we've got World and Technology Boy arguing back and forth, and suddenly the download is complete, and we get that great visuals, and she sort of steps out into the world with all the little likes and smiles and hearts and all of our little Twitter and Instagram and social media responses and Facebooks. Kind of a great reveal for that. The character, though, I wasn't really grabbing on it. And I'm not necessarily harping on the actress doing this. I think some of it's sort of the presentation. Even when she starts off with the what is it, the Marilyn Monroe kind of, chink, and gets the little heart over. It's like an Instagram filter. And I think that's what they were going for. But it looked even a little cheapened. And I love Technology's Boy is even completely underwhelmed with her appearance. And to me, Technology Boy was speaking my voice right there. It's just, really? That was interesting. Okay. So, yeah. So, not necessarily the best intro. And even as the character sort of went along, she is, well, being played almost like a new god. She's got her likes, but she's looking to increase bandwidth. You know, she's starting to play. Is it using sexuality? Is it what is it that's being used here to kind of gain a little bit more? Technology Boy doesn't care. He's comfortable in his skin. He knows who he is. But there was just this sort of childish baby neediness that was coming on. And maybe it's like the sexy baby voice thing, which bothers the heck out of me. Oh, you're just going to come in there and do... No, don't do that voice. It's annoying. It really is disturbing. And that's sort of what I was getting off of New Media. Even when she finally does her interaction there with Argus, you know, you can see she's looking for power. She's looking for expansion. I think that's sort of how this was intended to be played. Even with Technology Boy, can you give me a little bit more bandwidth? I think you're the guy to talk to. And then sees Argus with all the connections and all the things that he can offer, that she wants to bond with, absorb. It definitely got very sexual there, with the grabbing of the thing and the probe coming up underneath her, between her legs. And so, I mean, it was definitely very much, even at the end after Argus got killed, she's like, but I wasn't finished. I just found that to be maybe just a weaker presentation of the character. Just baseline. Though I think maybe that is why Technology Boy allowed Laura to take out Argus. Because he didn't do anything to try and stop her. I think he was seeing the neediness, the expansion of New Media. Was like, well, if this is going to happen, maybe I should just cut this out right now before this problem gets magnified. And then we can go ahead and deal with that problem later. So, just kind of an interesting bit. Why did Technology Boy let Laura go ahead and kill Argus without doing anything to try and stop? I think he was seeing the danger being provided with Media bonding with Argus, and then it was best to cut that off for right now, and then deal with other things later. But, yeah. So, yes, Laura. Again, another big focus in this episode, her trip with Wednesday, which I found rather interesting. Because Wednesday seems to have mostly had nothing to want to do with Laura, and here kind of needs her, but kind of uses the opportunity to teach her a lesson, look inside of her, maybe see her, try to reveal, understand more about herself, the truth about what she is after. I mean, we have constantly seen, and mentioned this before, how Shadow is, you know, we've got this constant push and pull between Wednesday and Laura regarding Shadow, each trying to pull over to that side. And so we're seeing a lot more of that dynamic here with all of this. Dealing with the background of Argus, going into him and his memories. Which again, I thought was beautifully presented. Both the field of battle, or I guess it wasn't really a battle, the field where Io was, as well as the Library of Alexandria. Also such a very sad tale. Greatest library in the world, copy of every book known in existence at the time, burned down by people upset with books and knowledge. And such a sad, sad thing. Can't burn the internet down, so maybe we've made some pluses right there. But a great sort of presentation, and really hitting on this idea of sacrifice. That in order to get something, in order to move forward, sacrifice is what was needed. We saw that at the end of Season 1, where we had Odin sacrifice all of Technology Boy's minions for Easter to give her power. Sacrifice, give something. Here we're doing the same thing. We are following the history of Argus. And each of those sacrifices that he has done, or that has happened around him, has only moved to strengthen, to perpetuate, to bring power, to bring blessings, as it were. The first one, of course, we have the body of Argus, the original, I guess we could say, protecting Io the cow. Io being sacrificed by Odin. And that's how we see that. It was the cow, but that cow was actually Io transformed, which is why then we see the girl right there. But of course, all of this is a memory, and we're not really affecting any change. It's a gesture, and understanding. This is what you have to do to get from one stage to the next. And each one gives a reward. Killing Io there gave the reward of the little spear tip there that was necessary used to kill Argus later on. Then, of course, we move to the Library of Alexandria and the sacrifice that was done there, the sacrifice of knowledge. He was there, all the memory, all of the knowledge, all of the information. That's what Argus had going on there. And that had to be sacrificed in order for them to get out of the room and move on to the next stage to find Argus now. Loved how Laura sussed that out. Oh, you just keep finding old memories and sacrificing until we get to the newest one. And the Wednesday gave her props for knowing that. I thought was great. And then intermixed through all of this, we're talking about what is Laura's motivation. And I think that that's probably a very insightful idea, because Laura's moving with this whole idea that she loves Shadow and everything she's doing is for Shadow. But she doesn't really have a plan of even what that is. I'm here for Shadow. I'm to protect Shadow, to do what he needs to do, to follow him. She's not the same person that she was before. She is a new person, and is this a person that Shadow actually loves? Is she doing all these acts really for him, or is it for herself? For self-preservation. I think that's how Wednesday hit on it very well. Oh, you're after him because you kissed him and that kicked a heartbeat into you. So it's not Shadow that you want, it's the heartbeat. It's to feel. Everything that is done is for Laura Moon. And I loved how just Odin's constantly from multiple directions hitting onto that. And that Laura, it doesn't just give up on any of it. Even when Odin is telling stories of her youth, you know, she's like, you don't know me, you know a story about me. She doesn't get swayed by that. So it made for a really great dynamic between the two of them throughout the entire episode. And then, of course, the final sacrifice that she had to make was to kill Argus in order to recharge that coin. Clean her up, give her a little bit more life. She only had a week left going in. This is what she needs. And from her intense response off of that, it seems that Odin was right. This is what you wanted right here. You wanted to feel. You wanted to be a part of this. Now that coin is recharged, you don't need Shadow. Now, truth being is, she ran into Shadow and kissed him and got the heartbeat because she was following him and she saw the light. And she saved his life when he was first attacked by Technology's boys way back in episode 1. So she does have a purpose, but is that murderous purpose really connecting in with what Shadow actually wants in his life? Are they moving further apart? And that sort of seems what we're going on, not only with Shadow connecting with Sam Blackcrow, but with all of Laura's movement here is to look inside and find out, are you really doing this for Shadow, or are you doing this for you? And at least according to Odin, she's doing it for herself. But it's who's doing things for Laura? Well, Sweeney. I think, as much as he complains about her, and I know he wants her coin, but he didn't reach into her chest and pull it out. I know he can't take it. She has to sort of give it to him or fall apart enough. I mean, they've got little things. But Sweeney's working really hard to help Laura out. And yes, part of it is his luck. She's got his lucky coin, and his luck is crap without it. I loved seeing that journey. First, he's having difficulty finding cars. Normally, he just goes, walks up to a car, it's unlocked, keys right there. Luck of the leprechaun. He's got crap luck now. He's got to go from car to car to car to car. Finally finds one that's open. Yeah, and the keys are there. And there's a giant dog behind. And I love how it was just we just get the shot of the outside of their truck and rah, 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 ah, just a little shrill one. That was perfect. And he gets to a boat. He's trying the boat. The starter cord rips off. The engine falls down. That releases the gasoline that when he drops his cigarette, lights the whole thing on fire. That's awesome. When his beat butt finally gets what seems to be a break. He's stumbling down the highway, almost gets hit by a bus as he passes out. It swerves around, talks, "Hey man, are you okay? Oh my God, is he getting a ride?" Yes, on a Christian rock tour bus. Do you believe in Jesus? If you accepted him as your God and Lord and Savior? Saying that to a leprechaun dealing with gods who actually just came from seeing the multiple Jesuses over at Easter's? Man, I feel for the guy. I really do. It's a crap journey. But he's doing a lot of work to get to the Baron to breathe new life into Laura. And yes, the exchange, if he does that, he gets his coin back, he gets his luck back. That seems to be the selfish motivation. But there was a whole episode last season dedicated to the story of Mad Sweeney and his connection with a girl that looked very much like Laura Moon. So, as much as he wants his coin back, I don't think that's all of Sweeney's motivation in this. I think it's twofold. Yeah, he wants his coin back, but I think he's really starting to feel for dead wife. Now, of course, we do have another little journey. We have Salim and Jinn going to Tomi to go and get Wednesday's spear, Odin's spear, to bring into battle, which was just a cool sequence. I love seeing the two of them together. I love the idea of going to a roadside connection to meet a god, and it's, of course, a strip joint. Sure, it's all about the green, and that gets interpreted two ways. Yeah, it's about the cash, it's about the money that type of establishment can bring in, but it's also about the tremendous amount of weed that's in the basement, next room, and the side. Didn't really see how the particular layout of this was. But that was just, again, cool little double-sided bit. Obviously, we have a long history between Jinn and Hitomi. I love the interaction. I love the fact that Jinn doesn't really care. There's jobs to do, there's obligations to live up to, and we're old friends so we can insult each other. That's great. I love the fact that the spear is in a guitar case. Looks very cool. Big question is, what is the plant? Before he comes in, he drops that little plant inside the water, which starts to bloom, and then gets the little seedling, puts it, wraps it up nicely. Not only do you need the spear, you'll need this also. What is the plant for? Is it a poison? Is it a sacrifice? Is it something else? Is it a signal? Very interested to find out what that was. One thing I'm pretty sure is it's not weed. Pretty sure. All right, just a couple of small things. First off, Argus, not really dead yet. Again, we are dealing with the idea of worshippers and beliefs, and that's what empowers a god. And that even killing a god is not going to be permanent if those worshippers and believers are still there. That's definitely something that Odin hits on when Argus is going out. When you come back, remember what side you're on. He is expecting that this is a temporary cut, that Argus will come back. Is he going to come back in the same form, in the same way? Possibly not. It's going to be something different. Certainly if he's not using Technology Boy's powers to connect into the depths of the dark web and everything else that he does, it will be in a different form. But that idea is, even though Laura killed him, he is not permanently dead. It seems something that Odin's very insistent upon. Well, I guess if you come back, he says. But it seemed to be pretty clear that he was. Especially hitting the idea that he was killed by Zeus's messenger, and Hera brought him back, that he became a god of information, of surveillance, and that even as his worshippers started to die, was able to connect up with the new gods to breathe new life into him. So as long as these worshippers exist, Argus will come back in some format, because surveillance information, yeah, that's always going to be in style. Did you guys notice when Jinn and Salim left our little roadside strip joint after picking up the guitar case of Death Spear, in the asphalt on the top was "Somewhere in America"? Small thing. Really appreciated seeing that. Want more of these moments. Some interesting color combinations repeated in this episode. The opening flames were going from yellow to blue. Then when we had shadow wandering through the forest, it was almost split. You had the shadow and the light side of the forest. It was a sort of a yellow and blue. I think even when new media sort of popped out, all of the lights and everything, blends of yellows and blues. So we've got some definitely color symbolism going on through the episode. Looks beautiful and so on, but always also looking for deeper meaning inside all of this. And I think it's connecting in some ways with Shadow and who Shadow is. Oh, and it's a small thing, but I really liked when Shadow and Sam Blackrobe pulled up finally to Ibis's place. Is right there in the front. You have the two statues of Ibis and Anubis. You know, they work together in their Egyptian form, standing there right up in the front. It was just, yes, it makes it obviously Egyptian, but it was just sort of a cool bit of imagery coming in right there. It was just nice. Alright, so by end, of course, Shadow is finally reconnected up with Wednesday. Laura is nowhere to be seen, and as much as Shadow wants answers, I guess they do not come when requested, they come when they are needed. Thanks, Wednesday, always giving us those answers. But a swig of mead and a nice contract, and Shadow's expected to wake up feeling like $1,000,000 and ready to move forward to continue to gather forces. And that's sort of the one thing I'm sort of hope we get to. All of season 1 seemed to be of Wednesday connecting up with the old gods, building up his army in order to start this war. Now that the war seems to have started, it's like we gotta continue to gather up our forces and collect our weapons and get ready for war. So I guess we can't see the war straight off after episode 3 or 4, but I am really hoping get a bit more focus on to what exactly is going on overall this season. But if we continue on in the format that we had this episode going, I'm going to be really excited with whatever journey we get to have. So that will wrap us up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me with this review. And as always, if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, throw those down in the section below. What do you guys think about this episode? A little bit better for you, a little bit worse. What do you think of new media? And why did Technology Boy go ahead and let Laura sacrifice Argus? Let me know your thoughts. Throw those down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe if you're not. Quick and easy one-button press. Catch all these reviews. And we'll even throw up a couple of our latest ones right here for you to check out. So, that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.